Hey friends, my name's Steven with Leviathan Snakes, and this here is Ribbon. She is our inchy blade clown female, and for this week's ball python marketing video, we are going to be talking about the engagement phase of the consumer marketing funnel. The engagement phase is all about getting people to interact with your brand. And I think that this phase is one of the most fun because one, you don't have the pressure of trying to sell something, which can be stressful and can be nerve-wracking. It is just making connections, it's making friends. So the engagement phase, like we said, is getting people to interact with you. And this can be done through engaging content. So this can be like really high quality photos, high quality reels, maybe like surveys, things like this. All of these are really good pieces of content. But I think that the best way to engage with people comes with comments and direct messages, if you're using Instagram or something like that, directly to them. Not necessarily waiting for them to comment to you or waiting for them to message you. Though if somebody comments or messages you, definitely use that opportunity to build up an organic engagement right away. So when you are going out to other people, find things that you can relate to them on. Maybe they are in the same project as you. Maybe you are working with inchy clowns and you have a fire inchy clown and you sent us a comment like, oh, she's gorgeous, I can't wait to get Blade into my inchy clown project, that kind of thing. Now, when you are doing this, the goal is to increase the engagement. It's getting the other person to interact with you back. So this is maybe like a little like tricksy and all that stuff, but asking people questions is a great way to start up a conversation. So you can say, if you see a beautiful sunset, you can say like, gorgeous snake, I love the sunset more. And that's fine, that is engagement, that is good. But if it was different, it's a different way that you could go about it is just simply adding in some question that relates to it. So it could be like, oh, gorgeous snake, I love the sunset project. Who produced that snake? If they hadn't said it already. And then they might say, oh, I got it from Brock Wagner. It's like, oh, that's super cool. I got my sunset from Brock Wagner. And you kind of like build up relatability because you have something that you can connect with. And it's these continued conversations over and over again that is going to build up loyalty. So the reason why all of the engagement is important is because it's essentially priming people for whatever stage of the marketing funnel they're in. Maybe they don't have a need at that moment. But when you do have something to sell, which comes in the conversion phase, just like the awareness and just like the overall video, we'll do a conversion phase one. But when you have something to sell, if you have a lot of engaged people who are aware of your brand and following your brand, they're going to be way more likely to buy from you. And if you can, let's say you have 6 ball pythons that you end up selling at your first season, you only have 1 clutch or something like that. But you've spent a year building awareness for your brand and building engagement around your brand, it's very likely that you'll be able to sell those 6 ball pythons immediately. And if you can sell them immediately, that increased demand in your product can also increase your price. So you don't have to be the type of person who looks at the market and says, well, I don't have a name yet, so the only way that I'm going to be able to sell these is to slash my price. And I apologize. I know I'm getting into the conversion phase. We'll get into all this stuff in more depth. So engagement phase. So we want to leave comments on other posts, genuine, meaningful comments while we're asking questions and starting up conversations. We also want to send direct messages to people. So when we are sending direct messages, it's more of an intimate, personal conversation. So we can ask specific questions. Maybe there's somebody who is in the project that you are working and you are wanting to buy a snake. Sending them a direct message and just being like, hey, I am looking for X, Y, and Z. Do you happen to have any, or are you going to have any clutches soon? That is a great way to open up a conversation and start building a relationship with somebody else. So I think that it is super important to reach out to other people during the engagement phase. Now, there are some platforms that I think are way better at engagement than others. So I think that Facebook is actually one of the one of the worst platforms for engagement, because oftentimes on Facebook, for whatever reason, people are really combative and that they aren't wanting to engage with you in like a meaningful kind of way. They just want to kind of call people out that they disagree with. I think that Instagram, at least in our experience, has been really positive. So I think Instagram's really, really good at engagement. But personally, I think that the best platform for engagement is YouTube. And the reason why I think that YouTube is so much more engaging and it has so much deeper connections is because you are able to like actually watch somebody talk and interact with them. And if they're doing lives, you can chat with them. And it feels so much more real than just simply seeing a picture or seeing a 10-second long video clip for a reel. And I think that YouTube is a great way to build up that trust and rapport, so that way when it does come time for the conversion phase, there's so many more people who know you, have kind of talked to you already, and when you meet in person, it's like you're friends. It's like you've been friends for years because you already kind of know the other person's personality. And I think that this is a really, really cool benefit that YouTube has over any other social media platform. The con of this is that YouTube requires a skill set that is entirely different than most people have. There's like a whole thing on lighting. So I know you can't see this right now. I might try to get some B-roll, but I actually have 3 different lights on me. So I have a key light, I have a fill light, I have a backlight, and I have an accent light back here. There's actually 2 accent lights that's purple and blue to kind of give the background a little bit more interesting vibe. Knowing how to use the camera in full manual mode so that way I can get it dialed in exactly how I want it. Knowing how to white balance, knowing how to edit, knowing how to record audio as crisp as possible. All of these things are skills that aren't directly related to ball pythons. So a lot of people who get into ball pythons love snakes. They know so much about them. They are genuine experts and probably know more than some vets about these animals. But videography and editing videos and marketing and all that stuff isn't something that just naturally comes with owning snakes. So if you are going to do YouTube as part of your engagement strategy, I do think that it's really, really important to watch like videos on like creating a YouTube channel. Basics of photography, basics of videography, because lighting is really, really important and they share a lot of the same things. So I think that all of this stuff is like really, really cool, really, really important to have if you're gonna start a YouTube channel. The other thing on engagement is that I talk about this all the time. It is so much better to have a small group of engaged followers than a big group of people who don't care about your content. I'm not gonna go on a rant about follow for follow. I did that in the brand awareness video, but if you have 100 followers, and of the 100 followers, you could pick out anybody. You know their names, you could talk to them. If you met them in person, you would like them. They are your friends. That is better than having 10,000 followers where there's only 100 of them that you like and that you actually would talk to. Because what ends up happening with the 10,000 followers is those other 9,900 because there was 100 followers who were engaged. They either don't care about your content as much as everybody else does, and then that's gonna hurt you in algorithms and things like that. Or they kind of feel like that you're stuck up and that they are not worth your time if they would try to message you or talk to you. So if you have 10,000 followers but are only interacting with a small group of them on any given basis, you are not engaging with your overall audience. And if you have a snake, or if you have a reptile or anything, if you have something that you want to sell, the people who may have bought that snake from you are not engaged with you enough to go to you or to buy it from you. But then one of their friends, one of the people, the 100 people that they're following, that they are engaged with, might have the exact same animal and they'd rather buy it from somebody that they know. This is like the benefit of engagement, is it's more qualitative than quantitative. If you can forge a genuine connection with somebody and you can become friends with them, that will trump the biggest name in the industry. If your best ball python breeder friend, doesn't matter who it is, if your best friend had the exact snake that you wanted, and Justin Kabolka had the exact same snake that you wanted, and they were both the same price, I guarantee you everybody would rather support their friend than somebody that they don't have a connection with. And there's nothing wrong. It's not saying that you wouldn't support Justin Kobulka. Justin Kobulka might be your best ball python breeder friend, but it's just showing that a engaged audience is more powerful than a brand name. So keep this in mind. In your engagement phase is through genuine connections. It's pretty much making friends with people. Find things that you can relate with, strike up conversations, ask questions, and don't just do it one time. You don't have to be weird or annoying about it, but maybe every now and then, maybe once a month, twice a month, just touch base again and just be like, hey, just want to see how everything's going. Like, it's been a bit since we talked. Be engaged with your followers, be engaged with your audience, and your consumer marketing funnel will get so much stronger than if you don't do it at all. I know that this video didn't have as many platform specific tips like the awareness phase did. If you guys have any questions on that, like if you're like, how many comments should I leave a day? How many messages should I send? Why shouldn't I do follow for follow? Like, leave a comment below or head over to Instagram. We are at Leviathan.snakes. Send us a DM, and if I'm free, I'm more than down to call. Like, I've called a couple different people and we've had hour-long conversations all about marketing and ball python industry and stuff like that. So definitely don't be afraid to reach out. So we hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next week.